Hi, and welcome to Game Time Thief. Gaming takes time, and this is the game that's stealing mine, League of Dungeoneers. In a follow-up to my quick unboxing videos, I thought that I would start a series by making a couple characters. I am going to make 2 characters and fill that out with companions. I've heard that plays slightly faster, and for a stream, I want to have a game that moves along at a good pace. So I'll give that a try and let's see how it goes. For my first character, I'm going to make an elf thief. So the first thing you do when making a character is you choose your species. And that's on page 28 and 29 of the book. And for elves, you can see that they're graceful and beautiful beings, exceptionally fast. Sounds like it'd be a good thief to me. Before we get into what all of this means, first we're going to do our stat rolls. Now, for stats, Michael has said that the standard way to roll stats is you take your dice, you roll 1 die for strength and record it, 1 die for dex, etc. And you get what you get. Maybe it's going to work out. But the alternative method he laid out is that you roll all your dice at once and you align the value to the characteristic that you want to give that value to. He says that produces slightly more powerful heroes. But given that I'm playing with 2 heroes and 2 companions, it sounds like a good idea to give myself a little bit of an edge there. So it sounds fun. So I think I'll try that. So first thing you do is you roll your stats. So 5 10-sided dice and 1 6-sided dice. And let's see how we've done here. We've got a 10, a 9, an 8, a 6, and a 2, and a 4 for the hit dice. So I'll try re-rolling the 2 and see if I get something better. Yeah, 5 is better. I can't re-roll that. And let's see. I can take the higher one, so let's try re-rolling my health and see if I can get better, but then a 4. Nope, it's a 3. So I'll keep the 4. And those are my stats. So for a thief, one of the most important stats is going to be your dex. That helps you with a number of your skills, such as pick locks, your dodge, your range skill, your combat skill. So I will give the 10 to that skill. And for make sure you can see this. For dex, it's 40 plus d10. So that is a dex of 50. And the /n is movement. And unless otherwise stated, your movement is 4. Let's see. For my next highest score, which is a 9, I'm going to add that to wisdom. There's lots of skills that are based off of wisdom. So I will use that. And let's see, that's 9 plus 35. So that's 44. And let's see. I'd want to go higher on strength. If you're high enough on strength, you get a damage bonus. But I know that thieves have a special rule where they can't use a weapon heavier than C2, which is class 2. And if we look over here, when you're creating your character, depending on your strength, you can see how heavy a weapon you can wield in one hand and two-handed. And so I can't wield a weapon heavier than class 2. So, I want a strength of at least 30. But anything over 30 is going to be overkill. So for an elf, its strength is 25 plus d10 to get to 30. Well, I've got a 5 right here, so I'll use that to get to 30. And I will get no damage bonus, but that's okay. Now I've got an 8 and a 6 left. Con, that's your strength, your toughness, your hardiness, your ability to survive poisons and disease and other effects. And it also, if you have a high enough con of 50 or higher, you start to develop a natural armor bonus as well. Elves generally aren't super, super tough. An elf, for example, has a con of plus 20, so there's no way we're going to get to 50. And resolve, that has to do with how your mental strength. For a warrior priest, it also has to do with their faith in their deity. So let's see. I think I'll go the 8 in resolve because I don't want to be afraid. And so resolve is 30, so 38 to resolve. And con is 20, so that'd be 26. All right, and then I rolled a 4 for health, plus 6 is 10. Okay, and then, as I said, with your strength of 35, I can do a class 2 one-handed, and I can do a class 3 two-handed, but I can't use a weapon higher than class 2. Also, as a restriction, I can't do armor heavier than tier 3, but we will get to that. Next, in order to have characters have some personality, what you can do is you can take on a specialization. What that is 15 free points that I can put anywhere in here that will let me kind of boost up these stats. The restriction is that you cannot put more than 10 points of those specialization into one skill. So my dex is really high. Sure, let's make it higher. Why not? Why not make that a 60? That'll mean that it's easier for me to use a number of my skills. It'll be easier for me to dodge. It'll be easier for me to do a bunch of things. These stats, when you're rolling, to attack, for example, you need to roll your equal to or under your stat in order to succeed. So the higher your numbers, the better off you're going to be. So that's 10 of my points. I've got 5 left. So why don't I spend 2 and make this a 40? And let's see, spend 1 more, make this one 45. There's 2 left. Why don't I make my con 28? All right. So with that done, and I've got my my weapons, or my one-handed, two-handed class worked out. The next thing you need to do is, well, if you were making a wizard, for example, you would take your wisdom skill and multiply it by 1.5, and that would give you how much mana you have. Thieves don't need or have mana, so we don't have to worry about that. But making a first level character, there is a number of things that we can just fill out. For example, we're level 1. You start with 1 energy, unless I think you're a warrior priest. Everybody starts with 0 luck, unless you're making a halfling. Halflings are the only ones who start with luck, as you can see there. And let's see. XP, obviously, is 0. And you start with 150 coins. And your sanity is 8 to start with. All right. Okay, now, next we go to professions. Oh, actually, before I do that, here it says that elves also start with perfect hearing and night vision. So I've already gone ahead and written that down. And perfect hearing gives +1 initiative token in the first combat round after opening a door, but not if you broke down the door. I've seen a lot of people playing online that if you're playing outdoors, you can still use this talent. However, I need to look that up because maybe that's changed. The way it's written here, it doesn't sound like you can use it outside, but if it's perfect hearing, it should work outside. So I'll look into that. Night vision gives you +10 to perception. So when I am adding my skills, I'll need to remember to add 10 there. And as a thief, I get a skill called Evaluate, which helps me get more money when I'm trying to sell loot and kind of trying to work that through. Every character also starts with a perk, which is called Heroic Force of Will, and that gives +10 to any skill or stat for a single check of any kind. So in order to use a perk, you spend your energy, and as a first level character, you start with 1 energy. So I could do that once until I level up and gain more energy and gain more skills, but that's where we start. So now, as I said, we're going to move to the professions. And for this, I'm going to choose the thief. As I said, the thief starts with the Evaluate skill and the Heroic Force of Will perk. We start with a small backpack. So I can put under backpack, I can put an S here. I start with a dagger. And I know that's a class 2 weapon, so I can use it in one hand. I forget what the damage is. I'll look all of that up. I can say that that by default, gear starts with, or standard gear has a maximum of 6 durability. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll knock those off. And your starting gear actually comes damaged. It's worn, it's old, it's seen some things. You might be inheriting it. Anyways, it's not in good shape. So it takes some durability loss. So you roll a 4-sided die. And in this case, I rolled a 1. So I have a slightly damaged dagger. That's pretty good. Let's see. I've got 10 lockpicks. So I'll put that here. And let's see, I've got a rope. Maybe I'll put the rope in my backpack. Why not? And thieves actually have a special skill, which I'll need to write down. And that special skill is that whenever you draw a treasure card, a thief always draws 2 and chooses which one to keep. If the card drawn indicates that you should draw a new treasure card from a higher tier of treasures, the thief may only draw 1 from that pile. That sounds like an amazing skill. Should help us get some really good loot. So let's now work out the skills. So the skills are based on the stats that we already rolled, and then they modify based on your class. So, for example, thief, good at stealing, plus 10 on lockpicks, not great on combat, -5. Where a warrior, for example, is plus 10 in combat, -20 on lockpicks. They're not good at that. So let's just work this out here. So combat skill is Dex, which is 60, -5, so that's 55. Range skill is Dex +5, so that is 65. Dodge is also +5, so that's 65. And pick locks is +10 to Dex, so that is 70. Foraging has to do with finding food when you're out in the wilderness. It's -20, so 8. Not great at that. Bartering is an even skill to wisdom, so that's 45. Healing is -20 from wisdom, so that's 25. Alchemy is -30 from wisdom, so that's 15. And perception is +10, so that is 55, plus the night vision, so +10, so that's +20, so that is 65. Cool. All right. So after you work that out, you're able to do something called free skills. And what you can do is you pick one skill here that has a negative, and you can add +10 to it. So, for example, I could make my combat +5, or I could make my foraging only -10. Let's see. Most of my skills are okay. I'm going to make the combat +5. So that is Dex +5, so that would also be 65. Okay. All right. With that done, then, if you have a warrior priest or maybe a druid or a wizard, this is when you pick your magic or your prayers or invocations, I guess. But I don't have that. So I'm going to do an optional thing, which is pretty neat and really helps kind of flesh out some of the personality of your character. And that is backgrounds. There's 20 backgrounds. So what you do is you take a D20, give it a roll, and that's a 1. So come over to, is it page 40? Yeah, page 40. And the background I got is called Wanderlust. So there's a story of what that means. So your personal quest is to visit all the settlements on the map, which is a total of 11. And once you've done that, you gain 1,500 XP. So I will record that. There's a section called Backgrounds here. And I will say Wanderlust. And I'll put a page reference. And visit settlements for 1,500 XP. And what I'll probably do here is actually write down all the names and put checkboxes. So as I go through, I can just mark them down. All right, so that's backgrounds. Now, as I said, you have 150 coins in which to spend for your starting equipment. You have some pros and cons here. Any equipment you buy now is fine. You can buy whatever you want as long as you can afford it. However, it does come damaged. So again, you have to roll that D4 and see how damaged it is. Alternatively, you could wait until you get to town and then buy it, and it'll be brand new, so there won't be any durability loss. However, the downside to that is, one, you're playing without important equipment, and two, you have to roll for availability. So that thing that you might want, that shield, that armor, that, torch, whatever it is, when you get to, that town, that village, that city, it might they might not have any in stock. So I think I'm going to spend something. I'm going to spend some money and get some armor. And I'm going to use the False Prophet book in order to do that. They have some new stuff in there for armor. I don't know if I can afford any of it, but let's take a look. So for armor, they added the studded armor here. So let's see. No, we can't afford any of that. Let's see. What I will do is I will buy a padded jacket. The padded jacket is 120 coins. So that'll leave me with 30. And it covers both your arms and your torso. So, padded jacket. It has a defense of 2 with 5 encumbrance. And it has the special trait stackable. Stackable means that you could wear an armored coat on top of the jacket, or you could wear bracers on your arms. So you could add extra armor on top of that jacket. And because it covers more than one part of your body, you only count the encumbrance once. So you're not double counting that. However, we do have to roll durability loss 4. That's not great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that's how you do that. I think these are supposed to balance out. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know, because that's an important distinction. Okay. I might buy a couple other things, but that is the basics of what you do. The other thing you do is when you're building your party, you have to worry about party morale. And the way you do that is you take your resolve score and you divide that by 10 and drop the decimal. So in this case, what I add to the party morale is going to be 4. So once I have my characters, or my other character and the 2 companions, I'll be able to take their resolve, put that together, and have my party morale score. And that, when you fail a test, when you fail a test to not set up a trap, when, a companion dies, these are all psychological things that start to break your party. And, if you run out of party morale, you break and everybody runs away. So that's an important element of the game. So that's the first character. The second character I'm going to make will follow mostly the same process, but I'm going to make a warrior priest So we're going to get a little bit into prayers and magic, that type of thing. And I'm going to make this a dwarf, specifically because there's new rules in False Prophet, and you get to pick your dwarf clan. So what I was thinking is that because I want to make a warrior priest, healing is an important aspect of a warrior priest. Here we go, the clans. I'm going to pick a Redbeard, which is let's see, how is that pronounced in Dwarven? Fizzerthag. So I'll just say Redbeard. And that says that I can add plus 10 to healing. So for now, I'll just say plus 10 there, just so I don't forget. Dwarves also have, is it night vision? Perfect hearing? Can't remember which one. This the one that gives you the bonus to your perception. Here we go. And they also hate goblins, which gives you a bonus there. So perception, let's just remember that. No, I didn't write down what hate goblins is, so I'll have to look that up. Okay, so let's start by doing some rolls. So I'm going to do the same process as last time. Okay, these rolls are really low. I've got multiple 2s, I've got a 1, I've got 2 5s. 5 for that. So I'll roll this 2, becomes a 6. Keep the 6, re-roll this 1, and it becomes a 10. That's pretty fantastic. I'll keep that. So ideally, I want my warrior priest to be a little tanky. So I want it to be a good fighter, but also a good healer. So I want my highest stats to be resolve, I think. Yeah, for prayers. So it's resolve and dex, so that I'm also good at, fighting. Well, let's lean into the prayers. So a resolve for a dwarf is 30 plus 10. 30 plus 10 is 40. My next highest is 6. So dex. So that would be 31 dex. Not super. 45 for strength. So close to getting a damage bonus, damage bonus, but not quite there. Wisdom, I will say wisdom is next, so that'll be 30. And my con will be 32. All right. The other restriction that dwarves have is that, they're short. So because of that, they're too short to use longbows or elf bows. So I've made a note here about that already. And then, let's see, I get to add the 15 points to these scores. So you know what? I'll take 5 and add it to my strength to make that a 50, which gives me 1 damage bonus. So that's 5. I've got 10 more points. As I said, I want to be a little bit more fighty, so Let's make that a 40, which gives me 1 point left. And let's put that into my resolve, make that a 41. Oh, and I forgot to 5, and I add plus 8 to that, so that's 13. All right, so with a strength of 50, if I check that handy chart on page 27, we see that I can do a class 4 weapon with one hand, and I can't quite do a class 5 weapon with 2 hands. It's just a little too heavy. So 4 and 4. And as I said, I get +1 to my damage bonus. And my con is not high enough to start getting a natural armor bonus. Okay, so now if we go to Warrior Priest, we can see that, for the default skills, again, level 1, not a halfling, so 0. Warrior Priests start with 2 energy. They start with either the Brave Heart or the Confident talent. So let's go to 176 and see what those are. Okay, Braveheart. Your hero is braver than most, +10 bonus on fear and terror tests. That's pretty cool. And Confident, no enemy or task is too difficult. Your hero gains +5 bonus to the resolve stat. I'm going to go for that. So Confident. So got +5 to that. Okay, and that is a talent. And Confident, I believe. That's on page 176. And +5 to resolve. Okay, I start with a small backpack. Try that again. I start with a small backpack. I have 1 religious relic. So it's either a ring or an amulet. 194. So you can wear lots of magic things, but you can only ever wear 1 magic ring. However, there is a bonus trait that you can get that lets you wear 2 rings. So 194. So I'm going to say it's an amulet. These are religious artifacts that can only be used by warrior priests. Only 2 of these can be used at a time unless the warrior priest has the reliquary talent, which is the one I mentioned. These count as magic items and therefore count towards the maximum number of magic items that can be worn. Okay, so I can either have a relic that gives me +1 energy, add +1d3 to any form of healing, more resolve, adds a luck, adds combat skill, or adds strength. You know what? I will do the one that adds to healing. Keep my party going a little bit more. As I said, it's going to be a necklace, or it's a relic. So Mathia +1 plus 1d3 to healing. To all healing. Done by priest. Okay, and that, as I said, is going to be a necklace. All right, so that is done. So now let's do the skills. Okay, so a warrior priest has... Oh, I also get a weapon. Okay, I'll get that in a second. For combat, it's +5. So dex, so 45. Range skill is -5, so that's 35. Dodge is -5, so that's 35. Picklocks is -20, so that's 20. Foraging is -20 from con, so that's 12. Barter is -10, so 20. Healing is +5. Wisdom, so that would be 30 + 5 + 10, so that's 45. The second set of boxes are for temporary adjustments. Just so you're aware. Alchemy is -15, so that's 15. Perception is -10, so that would be, and +10, so works out to just be 30. And prayers are +5. Prayers are +15 +5, so +20. So that's 61. Okay. Then I also get one weapon. So let's go to False Prophet. And right in the back, which is very handy. Are the weapons. And I know that I can use a class 4 one-handed. So class 4, battle axe, longsword, Morningstar. Yeah, I can't quite use a level or a class 5 one. So class 4. Let's see. I was thinking of blunt weapon, but built for offense. Yeah, sure. Let's go Morningstar. So it can be one-handed. Its damage is 1d8 + 4. Class is 4. Its encumbrance is 10. Well, that's pretty heavy. Unwieldy, built for offense and stun. My total damage is because I've got +1, so it would be helps if I wrote that right. 1d8 + 4, so it's actually 1d8 + 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to be slightly damaged. 1. Okay. All right, so I'll make a note of what exactly unwieldy built for offense of stun does, just so I can speed up gameplay later. And let's see here. Let's roll for a background. $18. Starts around page 40, I believe. Here we go. 18. Apprentice. You basically were a blacksmith apprentice. So your personal trait, your blacksmithing skills are useful. Whenever using an armor repair kit or a whetstone, you automatically regain 3 points of durability on your gear. All right, that's cool. Background. The apprentice. I will write down what that means later. I forgot to pick magic. So I've got the cards here. I get to pick 2 level 1, I believe. Yeah, 2 level 1 prayers at the start of the game. Let's see. You can regain 1 lost hit point at the start of his activation for the rest of the battle. You can channel energy basically to a wizard to help them cast their spells easier. You can help regain or potentially regain energy through a prayer. Make it harder for undead to attack. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to do the one that makes it easier for people to pass fear and terror tests. And I'm going to do the healing spell as well, or the healing prayer, sorry. Healing prayer as well. So I'll make a note of those 2 things as well. I will have to spend my coins or decide to leave them. Otherwise, this dwarf is pretty much ready to go. All right. Well, yeah, I'll make some decisions on how I'm going to spend. And when I start the campaign, I'll have chosen the 2 companions. I'll introduce everybody, and then we'll do the first scenario. So I hope you've enjoyed character creation from League of Dungeoneers. Again, thank you for watching. This is Game Time Thief. And remember, gaming time takes time. And, League of Dungeoneers has been stealing my time. And if it interests you, perhaps it can steal some of yours as well. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.